Hello YouTube land, today I'm going to be adjusting the camber on the front of my Beamer. So I tried adjusting the camber just by sliding the bolt on top of the strut here. I think that probably gave me about half a degree, so I'm going to have to actually use the proper adjustments. So I don't know whether, does anyone else think it's a bit of a crap design that you can't get the adjustment bolts on this side? I don't know, maybe you can't do it. But anyway, to do that I'll have to drop it to give me access to those bolts at the top. So what have I done so far? So I've got a trolley jack on the centre jacking point. I just slid, there's no weight on this, I just slid it there in case the jack gives up. I've got another trolley jack just going to support the hub. What I undo the nuts at the top, I'll have to drop it down a bit, so I'm hoping I can, if I drop this, the top of the coilover down a bit, hoping I'll better get in and better adjust those two bolts out of view. We'll see. I don't have to take the bloody coilover off to do it. This is what I ended up using. So you got your ratchet for like a 8-inch extension. 13mm deep socket. I used a 19mm spanner and a 15mm spanner. That's because I had to do something with the drop links. I think everyone's drop links are going to be a bit different. I had a 17mm socket. Not sure if you need a deep one, but I've got a deep one anyway. Pen, if you want to mark out where you would start with. Got a 16mm spanner, which is for my drop links as well, so it probably might be different if you, for yours. And then a HW4 Allen key. Yeah, there's the old drop link ball joint. See all the rubber split there. And of course my super high-tech camber measurement device. Before anyone says this is a crap method of calculating your camber, it's the best I could come up with without all the fancy equipment. So what I've done is printed out a huge protractor. I've taped that all flush, nice and flush to a square edge on a piece of cardboard. I've stapled that to a piece of wood which is the right length to go from the edge of the rim to the edge of the rim, so 18 inches I guess in this example. So I've stapled that protractor onto the edge of that wood. I made sure it was stapled on completely flush to the edge of the piece of wood. Otherwise it'd be a bit pointless. So that's what you can see in front. I've got a self-leveling laser which does a horizontal and vertical line. So I've positioned that so the laser's coming through the centre point of the protractor. I mean, the line is probably 1.5, 2 mil thick. So it's not going to be 100% accurate, but you can go from the centre of the laser line. And what I've got there is, so I've wedged a piece of wood there just so I can actually film it, that bit there. I was actually holding it with my hand to get a proper reading. Not a lot different. Seems to be 2 degrees of camber at the moment. So I've just wedged that piece of wood just so, because I can't hold it and film at the same time. So let me just try and zoom in. So when I'm holding the piece of wood against the rim rather than wedging it, it seems to be bang on 2 degrees. So I want to make it 3 because it's only really being used on the track. These are quite worthwhile making. You can just see length of flat wood. I just nailed a block on, so you can drive. You've got a garage like me, so the wood, the bottom bit presses up against the wall, stop the blocks moving when you try and drive up on top of them. Just means you can get to the jacking points with a trolley jack. Because mine, I can't remember if it was like it when it was standard, but now it's been lowered, I can't get a trolley jack underneath. So I've been meaning to make some of these for a while, so I've finally done it. So it's probably worthwhile having a pair ready made. So I've just taken out the top of the drop link out of the coilover. They're probably all different, but mine is 17mm nut, and then there's a 15mm. Let's see if I can hold this light at the same hand. And there's a 15mm bit on the other side to stop it, the ball joint just turning. So once you've dropped that out the way, you should be able to lower the hub down on the trolley jack. I've just dropped the hub down a bit. You can see that the top of the coilovers drop down. So I've marked where the camber adjustment currently is. Can't really see if I can reach under and move. So I've marked, oh you can't see it, my camber plate, my reinforcement plate is that black thing that's just dropped down, so you can't actually see the other one. So I've marked the other 2 adjustment bolt things on the other side. So I think it's going to be a bit of trial and error to try and get, so I'm probably looking at, I want to add about 1 degree. So yeah, I think it's going to be a trial and error. I'll have to adjust it and then put it back in position, then use my super accurate way to see what the new camber is. So we'll see. The easiest way I found to do this was, if you leave the bolts just sticking up in these holes a little bit, so when you undo the two little Allen key bolts on the camber plate, you can turn them and the whole unit doesn't try and twist. And then what I've done is I've turned the green, I'm calling it a camber plate, but anyway, I've turned it 180 degrees so I can get to these 2 Allen key bolts which were previously underneath here. So what I've done is undone them, slid the middle of it this way, because obviously I've flipped it, I've turned it around 180, so when I put it back it means I would have adjusted it that way to give me more camber. So I've taken it to the maximum position, because you can't obviously go any further because it's against the green bit there. So I've tightened these 2, I'll spin it back 180, tighten the other 2, and then raise it back up into position, try and do a bit of a measurement. Okay, so I've put it back round in the correct way, you can see how much we've moved from the lines I marked. I think I'm going to tighten these back up with them as far towards the engine as possible, just to give me that little bit of extra camber. If you're quite tall, it's easier with this because you've got to sort of guide these bolts while reaching down and pumping your trolley jack, so you might possibly need someone to help you with that. So yeah, let's get this all done back up and see what we got. I'm almost touching 3 degrees. Probably 2.75. That's the best I can do. I've maxed out the negative camber on the coilovers on the camber plate, and I've slid the 3 bolts as far over towards the engine as possible. So I've almost got 3 degrees, I think, but I can't really get any more. So now I've set the camber up, I think I'm going to stiffen the damping on the coilovers. So for my front ones, if you've got the HSD MonoPros, I expect a lot of coilovers are pretty much the same, where the damping adjustment is right at the bottom of the coilover. This is what I tend to use. I get hose pipe, put a slit in it, and then you can see where I've just overlapped it to make the inside diameter a bit smaller. I measured it against the rear ones, because the rear ones, the damping adjustment is on the top, so it's easy to get to because I've got no interior, so I can just open the boot and it's just there. So yeah, I measured, wrapped it around it and then taped it up, and I use that to poke up and adjust. It's a bit of a pain because you can't easily see where the adjuster is, but you can, once you get it on, you can hear it clicking as you turn it. So I've set that on maximum stiffness. So you can just see it. So it's a few inches up inside the I don't know what it's called, wherever the coilover attaches to the hub. I think mine possibly has 16 clicks between the softest and the hardest setting, clockwise to make it stiffer. So there's the rear damping adjustment. So I've got that set on max now, but you can hear it click if I go the other way. There we go. Nice and easy to get to, same the front ones aren't. So I'll have an episode coming soon which will be rear camber, because I've ordered myself some rear camber arms. So yeah, it should be good. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.